So I saw this tweet and it kind of got me kind of a big irked. Let me read it for you. I don't really understand slash relate to. I don't see any marketing or knew it was out when talking about any movie. Maybe I'm doing too much, but ever since movies were the thing I was into most, I've always tried to keep up with stuff, looked up what's coming out each weekend, etc. Saw something today, like I'm in the industry and had no idea this existed until today, about a fairly big movie. I get we have blind spots, but when we all use adblock, pay for streamers without ads, don't read the paper, how do you not just keep up with what you're into on your own? Now I kind of get that point, but I also feel like I don't get that point. I don't know about the rest of the world, but when I was studying, my lecturer told me that there is 10,000 films released a year. You only know about 100 of those. So how are we supposed to keep up with them? Also, my response to their post was, it must depend on where you live, like your country, because I can guarantee you half the films that everybody is currently talking about, I have not heard of. I have not heard of because A, they are not available in my country on purpose, B, there is no marketing for it because it is not a big movie, or C, if it is available in my country, it's maybe in like a state that has like 3 screenings for 1 weekend only, which is a very common thing to do in Australia. Now I get it that over on Twitter there seems to be a big debate about Fall Guy, and it kind of rattled off a bunch of things that's happening over the weekend. But I feel like I get it. As someone who loves films, it is my own understanding to go seek out what I love. But also, like, do you realize how many people I follow on social media? I don't just have TikTok. I have Twitter. I have Instagram. I have Facebook. I have YouTube. Yes, I also have streaming services. But I can't tell you the last time I watched the news and listened to an entertainment report. Before streaming services, my go-to was the news. I'd be like, all right, at 6:50 every morning, before work, before school, I'd be listening to the entertainment report, which went for 5 to 10 minutes, and then listen to what they had to say about upcoming movies. I can't remember the last time I did one of those. I literally don't know what time any of the movie segments are on anymore. Yes, I go to the cinemas. I mean, you guys see my regularly updated posts about the latest cinema release I watched. But also, like, my cinemas are limited. The manager at that cinema that I regularly go to has said that we can't get specific movies, which means they can't advertise specific movies either. So they only have like 6 spaces on their wall to hang posters. So if there's not a specific movie in that poster spot, we're not going to know about it. And I get it, but that shouldn't be the main reason a movie fails. And I get that this conversation over the weekend has been like how the Fall Guys budget was this high, but it only made this amount. And a lot of people are saying, well, the current crisis with cost of living, which is a very valid excuse, but it also shouldn't be the fact that we just instantly fall back on that excuse. It should be the fact that there is over 10,000 movies a year being released. The average person knows 10 of those. If you're a film lover, you might know 100 of those. There is also not enough hours in the day for a film lover, let alone an average person, to know about every single one of those movies. I can guarantee you that the movies that I talk about in Australia are not the same movies you watch in your country. Whether it be because it hasn't had a release yet, or whether it is because whoever owns the rights to that film just does not want to release it in your country, therefore you guys don't know about it. We also know that in the early 2000s, pirating was a huge thing, and it's not as common as it used to be, but also like the fact that we went from it being a pirate generation to the generation who has everything handed to them straight away. You know how many movies are on a streaming service, let alone TV shows? You know how many streaming services there are, not dedicated just to Netflix and Disney Plus, but also like Hulu, Peacock, Stan, things that are dedicated to each country as well. Again, who has that many hours in the day? And I say that as somebody who's trying to watch her own collection. Again, like, yes, if you love films, yes, you will go out of your way to know what's coming out. And I go to cinemas regularly. I have an account with them. I have a watch list and follow the trends. But you also know that release dates get changed. You also know that a lot of movies won't get talked about unless it's because of the Disney Fan Expo where they drop the trailers, or whether it be maybe the short little window of lead up, or maybe the fact that a lot of movies now have a short window at the cinemas and go straight to streaming, which means a lot of people just don't give a shit anyway. So I don't know. It kind of irked me, and I'm just like, anyway, but that's just, yeah.